I know fiction works because when I leave a strip club, it's with a different amount of money than when I went in. A smaller amount, generally speaking. But the question isn't so much whether or not fiction works. The question is, why exactly does it work? It's about a little thing called
theory of mind
and boob implants. Theory of mind is quite simply mind reading. We as readers utilize everything we know about human interaction to impose observations and impose will upon characters that we read about. So without that frame of reference, without what we know as basic human traits, things like sadness and jealousy and happiness and anger and lap dances, we cannot understand the actions of the characters in the fictional works that we are reading. But what about cartoons, right? Cartoons aren't human. Cartoons are fake things and we have emotional responses to them. Well, yeah, they are abstractions, but they are abstractions. I mean, they're abstractions of something, of what? Of human beings. Cartoons really exist by leveraging this idea of theory of mind to its extreme. What if I take a mouse and I allow it to speak in English or a human language, and I allow it to manipulate its facial expressions to mimic that of a human being? Mickey Mouse is born. Or Steamboat Willie, if you want to be a hipster about it. But Caleb, what about non-human narrators? Asks the same hipster who had the Steamboat Willie comment. You know what, sit down, drink your Pabst Blue Ribbon, and wear your dark black framed glass. I see you, right there. Put it down, put it down. Put it. Okay, listening? Okay, good. But Caleb, what about non-human narrators, completely inanimate objects that are part of a story? Well, that's possible. It can happen. In fact, it's happened in this book right here, Tabor Fisher's The Collector, which is a book told from the perspective of a clay pot, inanimate. But again, just like the cartoons, the clay pot is still an abstraction of humanity because we recognize the clay pot's thoughts and emotions as human thoughts and emotions. Otherwise, you don't have a story. You have nothing. That's actually impossible, I guess, to really have any piece of writing that's not in some way reliant upon theory of mind. Any sort of fiction writing, I should say. Even nonfiction, possibly, if we really want to extrapolate the idea to its fullest potential, which I guess is a good time to say Lisa Sunshine in Why We Read Fiction does just that. This is a great study of theory of mind and the narrative format. Lisa Sunshine is fantastic. Pick up anything she's ever written. You won't regret it. So anyway, back to my little hypothetical debate examples here. Number 3 is what about battered animals, right? We resonate, we have a response to those awful Sarah McLachlan commercials about brutalized animals. Those aren't human. We have a feeling in response to those. Well, true, but the reason we have a response to those is because those animal shots are cleverly edited to have what we interpret as sad eyes, little puppy dog eyes. Little sad little mouth. I mean, the frown is a human characteristic, and the emotion of sadness is a human characteristic given to the shape of the frown. I mean, emoticons. Fuck emoticons, but emoticons. I mean, those are also a testament to theory of mind. Those work because of theory of mind. They convey a story. They convey an emotion, which is extrapolated as a story. In a very simple format. So really, the cover of this book could have been just a giant winky parentheses smiley emoticon, maybe? Like that? Is that good? If you saw this wink in a bar, you'd be like, well, guys, all right, I'm running away. So this is really what it comes down to. Every single story is a human story. I'm probably preaching to the choir here. I'm not saying anything you don't probably already know, but it's nice to have it validated by someone as amazing and witty and handsome as me. I'm going to quote a little piece from Lisa Sunshine's Why We Read Fiction. As a sustained representation of numerous interacting minds, the novel feeds the powerful, representation-hungry complex of cognitive adaptations whose very condition of being is a constant social stimulation delivered either by direct interactions with other people or by imaginary approximations of such interactions. Translation being that when we read fiction, it's almost practice for real life. It's a stage play on our brains. There's other parts in this book that actually talk about how the brain really has difficulty interpreting the difference between a fictional character and a real character. To the brain, they're really all the same. So anyone who tells you you're being antisocial when you read, they're wrong. So if an author writes, She stands on stage and writhes her body like a snake. We as readers know two things. One, this writer should be brutalized for creating such a sexually confusing metaphor. I mean, she's a stripper, but she's writhing like the official animal representation of a phallic symbol. It's unnecessary to confuse me like that, stripper. And two, this stripper must be sexually excited, or at least wanting to be perceived as being sexually excited. And we know this because of her mannerisms and how we associate those mannerisms with our entire context of understanding of human behavior and emotion. This is classic show, don't tell stuff, which is a benchmark rule for all of fiction writing. Show, don't tell. Show the reader that this character is horny. Don't tell the reader that this character is horny. So in summary, fiction is a stripper on a stage and the reader is the dumb guy in the front row. One more thing before I go. What if all of this collected humanness doesn't quite get us to a believable character? What if it's close, but it's barely removed, not quite there? Well, then we have something that's called the uncanny canyon, which I will talk about in an upcoming video. Coincidentally, Uncanny Canyon is also the name of the stripper who has my money. Please, please, please subscribe by clicking the little button right above my shoulder here. Thumbs up this video if you like it. It really, really helps get the word out. Participate in the comments below. What do you think about this idea? Could you give me an example where the theory of mind, it doesn't work, doesn't exist? I'd love to know about one, but I'm pretty sure you'd be wrong if you told me that there was one. Contact me if you have any show ideas or anything. All of my contact information will be at the very end credit screen. There's even a phone number there if you want to call and leave drunken voicemail messages. I just might play them on a future episode. It would be a fun episode. So please do that if you want. Subscribe.